morning, my dear students. Welcome to the English class. Today I will be dealing with question and answers, that is discussion of question and answers from your second chapter from your book Reflection. Okay, that is the poetry. The Schoolboy, already just been explained to you. Okay, students, open to page number 13, 1-3. Okay, this poetry, The Schoolboy, open to page number 13. Already the poetry has been explained to you. What exactly is the poetry is? The first stanza, the boy, the schoolboy, he says that how he loves to rise in the summer morning. He loves to hear the huntsman singing on, huntsman blowing his horn, the bird singing on every tree, and he says how the skylark sings with him. And later in the second stanza he says that, but going to school on a summer morn, it drives all joy away. It drives us, it is taking away all the joy. And he says, under the cruel eye outworn. Cruel eye is referring to the teacher or the authoritarian who is present at that moment in the classroom. He says, the little ones, that is the young children, they spend their day in sighing and dismay. And then he says, are there not drooping times? Are there not times I drooping sit? I explained to you what do you mean by drooping sit. Drooping sit is nothing but they just follow. Drooping sit. Okay. It can be either because of tiredness or fatigue, or continuously you are sitting at one place, you feel like just dozing off. Okay, and spend many an anxious hour. Anxious hour is you are waiting for the hour to come to an end. Neither you can find delight in your book, nor can you find delight in the learning bower. Learning bower is referring to the classroom. Okay, it's a metaphor for the classroom. Go through with the dreary shower. Dreary shower is you are completely tired. Okay, then again in the fourth stanza is talking about how the reference to the bird has been mentioned over here. He says, how can a bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? Birds are usually free, but you see sometimes when birds are put in a cage, the kind of pain they have, because they are born for freedom but they have been put in the cage. So your cage is referring to the school or the classroom. One more question will be asked, what does the cage refers to, school or classroom? He says that how can a child, when fears annoy, always you have some fear that tomorrow I need to complete my homework, I need to finish my assignment, this, that, etc. Then how can you enjoy your life? And he's saying forget the youthful spring. I told you that 3 seasons have been mentioned in this poetry. The schoolboy. The 3 seasons mentioned are spring, summer and winter. Okay, spring is referring to childhood. Okay, here that is what he's saying in this stanza, saying that how can you forget the youthful spring? And then in the next stanza he is calling out to his mother and father, his parents, and saying that he is urging to them, saying, oh mother and father, how can if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away? Okay, buds are nipped, small plants, if they have been plucked off, how can they become a big flower? They cannot. Okay, and if they are tender plants are stripped off has been broken, how can they survive in their springing days? Springing day, if they have been broken, that is when they are very small, when they are tender. What happens? With the sorrow and care is dismay. You are not giving us the proper kind of care, because childhood is the time when you are supposed to nurture the children very nicely. In the last stanza he says, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear, or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year? Okay, when the blasts of winter appear. So he is saying that when you haven't enjoyed your childhood, what are you going to do in your youth? Okay, when you haven't enjoyed your youth, what are you going to tell people in your old age? What kind of stories will you have to tell them during your old age? Okay, so this was the explanation of the poetry. Page number 13, you have glossary. Huntsman, it is hunter. Winds his horn, that is blows his horn. A cruel eye outworn, that is authoritarian ways of teaching. Dismay, it is feeling of fear and discouragement. Anxious hour is restlessness of the boy. Learning bower is a metaphor for school. Dreary shower, here it emphasizes the tiresome aspects of the school. Blasts of winter appear, that is strong gusts of winter or sandstorms. Open to page number 14, students. Now see, page number 14, question 1. Who do you think I refers to in the poem? I refers to the school boy. Your answer should be the school boy. Okay. Sweet company refers to skylark, huntsman's horns, bird song, all of the above three. The answer is all of the above three. Third question, what drives the boy's joy away? What drives, what takes away the boy's joy? It is the thought of going to school drives the boy's joy away. Next one, how do the little ones spend the day in the school? Your answer should be the little ones spend the day in the school in sighing, S-I-G-H-I-N-G, sighing and dismay. Okay, this should be your answer. If you just write sighing, you will not get marks, or if you just write dismay, you will not be getting marks. Sighing and dismay. Question number 5. What does Kate stand for in the poem? Kate stands for the school or the classroom. Either you can write school or you can write classroom. Pick the phrase from the following which does not refer to the formal schooling. Buds are nipped, fruits are gathered, plants are stripped, blossoms are blown away. Your answer is fruits are gathered. Okay. Question number 7. Relate the seasons mentioned under column A with the stages of life under column B. You have spring, summer, winter. Already I have written over here. Spring is referring to childhood, summer is referring to youth, and winter is referring to old age. Okay. So these are your 1 mark questions. Write very neatly, students. You need to maintain the notebooks. Once the college starts, I will be checking the notes for you all. Okay, you need to write the notes based on the explanation that is being given in English. Notes won't be provided to you. You need to have a practice of writing how you are writing it. Okay, because you are supposed to write in your own words. Now see, second main comprehension 2. First question, this is for 4 marks. Okay, what does the schoolboy love to do on a summer morn? What drives his joy away? Okay, for this you will be starting off saying that how this little boy, schoolboy, he says how he loves to wake up early in the morning during the summer days, and then he says that how he enjoys birds singing on every tree. He says he loves the sound of the huntsman blowing his horn. Then he even says that how Skylar sings with him. Okay, and he says it's a sweet company. Okay, but to go to school on a summer morn, it is driving all his joy away. Why is it driving all his joy away? Because he says that he needs to be under the cruel eye out one. Cruel eye is referring to the teacher, authoritarian ways of teaching. Okay, basically this poetry is talking about formal education. So here you can see that how he explains. Okay, he says that what drives his joy away? Going to school on a summer morn, sitting under the authoritarian thing, cruel eye out one. He then says that how does he sit? He sits in sighing and dismay. He even says that how then at times a drooping sit because of the tiresome aspects of the regular hours of class, how he is feeling tired and he is completely exhausted. Okay, he doesn't have energy at all. Why? Because he says that neither can he find delight in the book nor can he find delight in the learning bower. Learning bower is referring to the school. Okay. Second question, describe the boy's experience in the school. Okay, again you are supposed to write the same answer for this, how he loves to wake up early in the morning, but he loves the skylar singing, the birds singing, the huntsman blowing his horn. But to go to school on a summer morn, what is his experience? He says that how there is always an authoritarian voice behind him. Okay, cruel eye out one, he does anything, there is someone to catch hold of him. Then he says that how the hour is not coming to an end, he is waiting for the anxious hour to come to an end. Okay, his experience in the school is, he says, when he has not enjoyed his spring, that is the state, the childhood, how can he enjoy his summer? He even talks about how buds are nipped, etc. Okay, so basically here we can see that the poet is not arguing about the education system over here. He is just telling us that we need to include many other activities also into the curriculum of the students so that he can enjoy learning along with the other activities. Question number 3. According to the poet, how does formal education curb learners' potential? Again, you are supposed to write the same answer but with a certain elaboration. How it is curbing one's potential is because you are always sitting over there and someone is having a look at you. Okay, when you are involved in other activities, like for example in school you might have had literary competitions, you will have cultural activities. Okay, what happens during that time? You become a bit closer to the teachers, you become closer to the other staff. Okay, in this way what is happening? You're building a bond between the teacher and yourself. And basically it leads to what? It leads to the understanding of the subject, understanding of the language, understanding of the events that are happening in the school, rather than just focusing on the studies. You're focusing on other things, which is not only enhancing your mindset, okay, enhancing your point of view about anything, but it is also encouraging you to participate and learn certain other things while you are participating in so many things. Okay, formal education curbs learners' potential. It means to say that they are not always asked questions about, they are always only focused on studying and studying and studying. Basically, the poet is talking about you're not only supposed to have formal education but also informal education. What is informal education? Informal education is where they take you on trips, where they take you for exhibitions, where you go to the museums. That is, you're learning over there also something, but apart from what is there in your curriculum. Okay. Question number third main, this is for your 6 marks. Formal schooling not only takes away the joy of childhood but also hinders the child's growth forever. Explain. Okay, it is not only taking the joys of childhood, is what happens when continuously you are asked to study and study and study. Okay, you might have seen that during your 10th standard, everyone, you had a pressure not only from your parents, your siblings, but also from your relatives, your family, your friends, okay, your neighbors. Okay, you had your peer pressure, that is, my friend is scoring so much, even I need to score so much. What happens in formal education? It is taking away the joys from you. You're unable to enjoy what exactly is happening. Okay, so he says formal schooling not only takes away the joy of childhood but also hinders the child's growth. You're just focusing what is there in the book. You don't know what is there outside the book. That is the reason why they say that along with the books you need to understand what is happening in and around you so that you can correlate with you. See, one thing you need to understand is why language literature is important. It is talking to you about your experiences. It is talking to you about your dreams, about whatever you encounter in your life. There is something for you to learn. Okay, for example, you see so many lessons, so many poetries you might have studied in your school, and now again you are going to study the same thing. It is not only that you study something, you forget. Once you write the examination, language is something that you cannot forget at all, because this will go on with you, because each and every lesson or poetry teaches you a moral, teaches you a lesson that you need to remember throughout your life. For example, the first lesson, The Gentleman of the Jungle, it spoke to you about racism, what happened when the foreigners came and took over, the racism, the colonialism. Okay, we are learning something or the other in one way or the other. Okay, the next question, do you think the poet is arguing against education? Discuss. Definitely not. The poet is not arguing against the education system. What he is trying to tell us is, he is trying to tell us that how we need to change our system. Rather than completely being focused on just books and books, we need to involve in other activities also so that the students can show their talents. We as teachers need to inspire and motivate the students so that they can turn out to be the best of the people in the world. Okay, he says that education system should not become it should not become a barrier in the life of a student, but it needs to give you the potential. It needs to enhance your thinking so much that you need to understand what exactly is happening in and around the world. Okay, when you can see that when the poet is referring to a bird over here, he explains that how a bird which is born for freedom, it cannot sit in a cage. Okay, when he is talking about the buds are nibbed, Okay, it is not completely, it is not talking about breaking. It is talking that they need to be nurtured with care, love, everything. You cannot just move away from them. If you just leave them like that, when you just burden them with something, what happens? They are going to get spoiled. Okay, rather than that, give them so much of care and love that they become responsible, independent individuals in their future life. Okay, so this is the discussion of the question answers. Go through the poetry, try writing it in your own words. Why I am asking you to write it on your own is because it gives you the practice of writing. That doesn't matter if you make any mistakes. Make mistake once, twice, doesn't matter, but try to write it on your own. It is definitely going to help you in the long run. Okay, thank you, students.